from the people who need it. Yes, I am for repairing the breach. Yes, I am for reparations.
Our next question is for Senator Dodd.
Do you believe the response in the wake of Hurricane Katrina would have been different if the storm hit an affluent, predominantly white city? What roles do you believe race and class played in the storm's aftermath? And if you do acknowledge that race and class affected the response efforts, what can you do to ensure that this won't happen in the future? And what can you do to ensure this nation's most needy people, that in times of crisis and always, something will be done to help them too?
Well, it's a great question, Morgan, to raise here, and obviously it points to one of the most dark and shameful moments in recent past history in our country. The fact that a major American city went through a natural disaster, and we found almost little to do. The American president had almost no response whatsoever to the people of that city, New Orleans. In fact, today still, the problem persists for people who had to move out of their city, move elsewhere, and little or no efforts to make sure they can get back in their homes. They have literally thousands of people whose homes were destroyed, their economic opportunities destroyed. I believe that had this occurred in a place with majorly a white population, we would have seen a much more rapid response and a consistent response to that issue. As American president, we can never, ever allow again a major city, a major population center in our country go through what New Orleans with the Gulf states did as a result of the kind of neglect from an American president. As president, I would commit to do everything possible to see to it we bring to bear the talents, the resources. In fact, it should have been done ahead of time, to have a FEMA operation that was prepared to respond to these predictable disasters. So it's a mark of shame in our country. It ought to be reversed. It will in the Dodd administration.
Governor Richardson, the Democrats talk a lot about the failure of the president with Hurricane Katrina. The governor of that state was a Democrat. The mayor of that city is a Democrat as well.
Well, there was politics. All of a sudden, other states that had the similar devastation got better treatment, like Mississippi. This is what I would do. The response of our government to Katrina before, during, and after was inexcusable. We have got to eliminate in the future any red tape that helps families, that helps the devastation. Secondly, we have to let those that live there to come back first instead of big moneyed interest. We have to stop the predatory lending of insurance companies, housing, and many others that are ripping off the people. And then finally, we have to make sure that a president cares and doesn't just pose for photo ops, but makes a difference and a commitment to rebuild that city and that region.
Our next question comes from Jordan Williams.
Hello, my name is Jordan Williams, and I am a student at KU from Coffeyville, Kansas. This question is meant for Senator Obama and Senator Clinton. Whenever I read an editorial about one of you, the author never fails to mention the issue of race or gender, respectively. Either one is not authentically black enough, or the other is not satisfactorily feminine. How will you address these critics and their charges if one or both of you should end up on the Democratic ticket in 2008?
Senator Obama, how do you address those who say you're not authentically black enough? Hey, well, not my question. Jordan's question.
You know, when I'm catching a cab in Manhattan in the past, I think I've given my credentials. But let me go to the broader issue here, and that is that race permeates our society. It is still a critical problem, but I do believe in the core decency of the American people, and I think they want to get beyond some of our racial divisions. Unfortunately, we've had a White House that hasn't invested in the kinds of steps that have to be done to overcome the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow in this country. And as President of the United States, my commitment on issues like education, my commitment on issues like health care is to close the disparities and the gaps, because that's what's really going to solve the race problem in this country. If people feel like they've got a fair shake, if children feel as if the fact that they have a different surname or they've got a different skin color is not going to impede their dreams, then I am absolutely confident that we're going to be able to move forward on the challenges that we face as a country.
Senator Clinton, you have a minute as well, since this question is to you.
Well, I couldn't run as anything other than a woman. I am proud to be running as a woman, and I'm excited that I may be able finally to break that hardest of all glass ceilings. But obviously I'm not running because I'm a woman. I'm running because I think I'm the most qualified and experienced person to hit the ground running in January 2009. And I trust the American people to make a decision that is not about me or my gender or about Barack or his race or about Bill and his ethnicity, but about what is best for you and your family. We have big challenges and big needs in our country, and I think we're going to need experienced and strong leadership in order to start handling all of the problems that we have here at home and around the world. And when I'm inaugurated, I think it's going to send a great message to a lot of little girls and boys around the world.
Senator Edwards. Senator Edwards, earlier this week, your wife said that you would be a better advocate for women than Senator Clinton. Was she right?
Well, let me say first that on the question that was just asked to Senator Obama.
We prefer you stay on the question if you
I'm
could.
going to stay on your question. I promise I'll answer that question. But first thing I want to say, and I want to speak for everybody, I believe on this stage, anybody who's considering not voting for Senator Obama because he's black or for Senator Clinton because she's a woman, I don't want their vote. I don't want them voting for me. I think what Elizabeth was saying was, to answer your question, what Elizabeth was saying was there are very important issues facing women in this country. More women are affected by the minimum wage than men are affected by the minimum wage. I've been the most aggressive. In fact, I would challenge every Democrat on this stage today